Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie and this is Stanley and we're here to talk about books. So right off the bat, if you're not interested in a 40-something British woman doing YouTube videos about books with a giant teddy bear, this may not be the place for you. But if you like tea and bears and books, you might find something to enjoy. Speaking of tea, why don't you follow me to the tea drawers? Welcome to my sad windowless kitchen. My husband Dave did try and provide a window for it, which was very lovely of him. And here are the tea drawers. 3 of them are empty. I'm going to have to do something about that before the next video. So we're not going to need the D12. Oh well. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So that's green yuzu. Oh, good choice. Good choice from the dice there. Got my favourite teapot already. And past me has very kindly already boiled the kettle. So we get some leaves in there. There we go. And here we go. Oh, I do love that sound. Sound of hot water over tea leaves is my happy place. So there we go. Giant pot of green yuzu tea for today's video. Lovely. Now we've got our tea, let's talk about the kind of videos that you can expect from this channel. I have a tentative plan, but we're going to see how it goes. At the start of the month, I'll be doing a wrap-up of all of the books that I've read the previous month. Then in the middle of the month, I've got a series that's transferring over from my podcast called Reviews Revisited, where I pick a book that I have reviewed sometime since 2005 when I started publishing my reviews online. And then I'm going to read it and do a deep dive analysis of it with some spoilers, but they will be marked. And then I'll compare it to the review that I wrote back when I originally read it to see whether I think the same thing or whether I even remember what I thought about it. And then at the end of the month, I will do a TBR video picking the books that I'm going to read for the upcoming month and also letting you know about any books I've hauled in the interim. And speaking of TBRs, let me take you to the book flaps. Here we are at the book flaps. Let me explain. So many years ago, I had, as I still do, my to-be-read books on these shelves. And I used to sit on the sofa over there and look at them day in, day out. And whenever I wanted to come and pick another book, I'd been looking at them for so long that I wasn't interested in reading any of them. So one day, my wonderful husband Dave made these book flaps for me. And I came home and there were flaps over the shelves. So now I can't see what's in there. And every time I come to pick a new book, it's a wonderful surprise because I've usually forgotten what books there are on the shelves. So I have 2. The rule is that if I can't fit books on the shelves, I can't buy any more books. But you know, there's ways of fitting books on, and it's usually a bit untidy under here. So here we go. This was the fantasy shelf, speculative, sci-fi, that kind of thing. But I haven't got as many of those now as I used to. So I've got non-fiction, fantasy, literary and historical along here. And underneath is the shelf that I'm mostly going to at the moment, which is the thrillers, the contemporary drama, that kind of stuff, the more sort of fast-paced, got a couple of romance. And these are the ones that I'm taking on a reading retreat weekend that's coming up. And this is my April TBR. So you're getting a bit of a sneak peek of what may or may not be coming up later on in videos. And there you go. Book flaps. In terms of the types of books that you can expect me to be reading, they're not likely to be new or popular or contemporary romance or romantasy, because that's not really my thing. The new or popular is because for the last few years, I have not really been buying very many new books. I tend to get my books from the really excellent local train station free book exchange, which I see every time I get on or off a train. So, and they're free. So, you know, do tend to get books from there. I also frequent the charity shops in the town where I live, which are pretty decent as it goes in terms of books. Sometimes I might treat myself to a mystery book subscription box, but that's quite rare. And occasionally I remember that I do actually live less than a 5-minute walk from a library, so I do get books from there sometimes as well. Towards the end of the year, things get more exciting because I do keep a wish list of new releases and backstock of authors I love, and I tend to give a selection list to my parents to get for my birthday in November and Christmas. So I will get more popular possibly and more recent books from those. So the December and January videos might look at that kind of stuff. In terms of genre, I've been a long-term fantasy fan. I do read some science fiction, although I'm kind of doing that less, and I've moved across more to contemporary drama, historical fiction, thrillers, not least because that's what I tend to get from the book exchange and the charity shops. But, you know, it might be a bit of a random selection because of where I get my books from. I am always looking for more 5-star reads because they are very few and far between from me. I always say that I wish I liked more things and I wish I liked things more, but just in case anybody has any recommendations, the recent 5-star reads I've had include Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, which everybody will probably know about by now, but absolutely loved this book. The Collected Digger Comics by Ursula Vernon, absolutely fantastic, loved it, highly recommend. The This Is How You Lose the Time War, really stellar book, kind of lyrical sci-fi with a queer romance, always up for that. Becoming by Michelle Obama, really enjoyed that. I don't tend to read a huge amount of memoir, even though I edit them a lot in my day job, but that one was really fantastic. And of course, The Night Circus. So, you know, pretty much top of a lot of people's lists, this one. Really love it. Stanley, in fact, is wearing a scarf that I knitted based on a pattern somebody made of the scarf that Elizabeth knits for Bailey in The Night Circus. So that's where this comes from. I also love Jane Austen, Mary Robinette Kowal, especially the Lady Astronaut series, and Becky Chambers. So based on all of that, if anybody's got any recommendations, please do let me know in the comments section. In terms of other things you might be interested to know about me, I am a professional book editor, so if there's any writers out there who might want my services, developmental, copy editing, proofreading, any genre, fiction or non-fiction, I do it all, so, you know, that's something to bear in mind. I also write my own books. I have 2 novels that are available, The Defiant Spark and A Spectrum of Heroes. The first one's fantasy and the second one's science fiction. I am always writing more stuff, and I have a lot of short stories out there in the world as well. Stanley also has his own content. He has an Instagram channel where he posts videos about building a better relationship with yourself. And he and I actually wrote a book together a couple of years ago on that very subject. It's got bits of memoir from Stanley's life, meditation, guided meditations, and lessons about being nicer to yourself and thinking better of yourself. So I will put links to all of that down in the comments section, along with links to the podcast that I mentioned earlier, the main series of which I do co-host with my husband, Dave, and we take it in turns to pick a book, a TV show, or a film we were a fan of before we were married, and the other one doesn't really know. And then we come together to discuss our reactions after we've watched it separately. And that's a lot of fun, and that happens monthly. So let's embark on this journey together and see where it takes us. I would love to hear where you found me and what you think of this video and what you might like to see on this channel. Do feel free to like and subscribe if that feels appropriate to you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.